On Global TV News Prime, Tinubu swears in ex-Chief of Defense Staff Musa as Defense Minister. In business, the Federal Executive Council sets 1,512 naira per dollar exchange rate, projects 34.33 trillion naira revenue in 2026 budget framework. And on the foreign scene, Guinea-Bissau's Electoral Commission says a vote tally destroyed following military coup. In sport, FIFA confirms December 15 AFCON release date. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. President Bola Tinubu has sworn in retired General Christopher Musa as new Minister of Defense. General Musa arrived the forecourt of the villa and was ushered into the president's office. Musa, a former Chief of Defense Staff, took the oath of office at the State House in Abuja. The Senate has received requests for confirmation of nomination of 65 ambassadorial nominees from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The nominees, as read from two different lists by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during plenary, fell into two categories of 34 career ambassadors and high commissioners and 31 non-career ambassadors and high commissioners designate. Topsy Ginba has the details.
Notable names among the 34 career ambassadors and high commissioners are Ambassador Sulu Gambari from Kwara State, Ambassador Ahmed Mohamed Mongunu from Borno State, Ambassador Maimuna Ibrahim from Adamawa State. Notable in the list of non-career ambassadors and high commissioners are Senator Ita Inam from Akwa Ibom State, Vice Admiral Ibas Ibok from Cross River State, ex-Chief of Army Staff Abdurrahman Dambazo from Kano State. President Tinubu in the requests hinge on Section 171, subsection 1, 2, and 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, sought for expeditious consideration of the nominees. Accordingly, the President of the Senate forwarded the requests to the Committee on Foreign Affairs for screening and report back within 1 week.
Whilst I hope that the Senate will consider and confirm the appointments of the nominees, expeditiously, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Recall that President Tinubu had earlier forwarded to the Senate 3 ambassadorial nominees last week for appointment confirmation. The 3 earlier nominees, namely Kayode Are, Ogun State, Aminu Dalhatu, Jigawa, and Ayodele Oke, Oyo State, were screened on Wednesday by Senator Abubakar Sani Bello, Niger North-led committee. Topsy Ginba, reporting for Global Television News.
The House of Representatives is demanding tougher action against insecurity, including publicly naming those financing terrorism, banditry and kidnapping across the country. This comes as the House also marks the International Day of Persons with Disability by renewing calls for full enforcement of Nigeria's disability laws. Our National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
At plenary, lawmakers adopted the outcome of last week's extensive national security debate, a session that reviewed Nigeria's worsening wave of attacks, school adoptions, and banditry. The House is now asking the federal government to publicly name, sanction, and prosecute all financiers of terrorism and kidnapping.
So what I'm trying to say, you can see that those who are also going to be exempted, maybe one person will be engaged with 10 police officers, which is irrelevant. We need to specifically mention at least not to exceed 2 or 3, or even 1.
It's virtually just go into the website to apply. But we want to restrict it now. We may bring out some bottlenecks that at the end of the day, there will be casualties. And a little contribution, which he is aware, his axis, once suffered, the consequences of Boko Haram.
Lawmakers insist that terrorism-related prosecutions must be open, expeditious, and transparent. They are also calling for a special court dedicated to trying terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping cases, and for stricter penalties for illegal arms trafficking.
It's better we go by the president's directives that they should disband the SPU and all police escorts should be withdrawn for everyone.
Suggesting that we can put a strengthened and well-funded victim support system for victims of whatever is the intent of the lawmakers here.
The question is now open to the House. Those in support that we adopt this recommendation as a working instrument of the House, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. But these adoption, these documents, recommendation becomes resolution and it's a working instrument of the Parliament. We also resolve that these particular documents should be transmitted immediately to the Senate for their concurrence.
The chamber says it's more than 40 security recommendations will be forwarded to the Senate for concurrence and then transmitted to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and relevant security agencies. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
The House of Representatives has called on the federal government to urgently fast-track all procurement processes under the Nigerian Police Trust Fund, NPTF, to support the security state of emergency declared by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The decision followed a motion of urgent public importance by Honorable Victor Obuza, who noted that despite increased funding, now 1% of the Federation account, critical police equipment and logistics remain stalled by bureaucratic delays. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
Obozo warned that rising terrorism, banditry, kidnappings, and one-chance attacks require faster deployment of vehicles, communication tools, protective gear, and other operational essentials. The House urged the Minister of Finance, Accountant General, Permanent Secretary of Finance, Director of Funds, Budget Office, and BPPDG to accelerate tenders, evaluations, and contract approvals.
This presidential pronouncement and inevitably affect negatively ability of the Nigerian police force to respond swiftly and effectively to emergent security threats.
In a separate motion, the House adopted a motion of urgent public importance moved by Oboku Ofoji, urging the Federal Ministry of Education to rescind its recent curriculum review that removed key subjects such as computer studies, data processing, electrical installation, photography, and civic education from the WAEC portal. Ofoji argued that removing subjects fundamental to digital literacy and civic
African Senior School Certificate Examination was barely 4 months away. It is academically impossible for students to select and adequately prepare for a new unstudied subject to meet the required 8 subject.
The House also moved to end the increasing rates of accidents and deaths on the abandoned Abakali, Ikwo, Oferekpe, and Obubra Road. Member representing the area, Chinedu Oga, raises a motion of urgent public importance for the House to investigate and expedite the construction of the abandoned road since it was taken off the Ebonyi state government.
Concerned that this road has not only become the death trap for computer and the residents adjoining the community, but also breeding ground for robbery and other frivolous activities.
As part of the day's legislative business, the House reserved to probe the revocation of over 4,000 mining licenses by the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development in the last 2 years.
Mandates that license holders must be given adequate notice, fair hearing and compliance timelines before revocation, and such action must be justified.
A motion on the urgent need to convert COVID-19 intervention loans to grants and restructure repayment for small and medium-sized enterprises was, however, stepped down for further consultations. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has called for greater inclusion and empowerment of women in the Nigerian police force as the institution marks 70 years of female participation in policing. Her message sets the tone for a ceremony honoring the courage and contribution of police women since 1955. Samuel Odi reports for Global TV.
At the anniversary celebration in Abuja, First Lady Oluremi Tinubu praised police women for their resilience, discipline, and loyalty to national service. She described them as key players in maintaining community safety and urged the force to provide more leadership opportunities, better welfare, and expand professional development for women. According to the First Lady, investing in women is indispensable to building a stronger and more secure nation.
For 7 decades, Nigerian women have stood on the front lines of peace, law enforcement, and community safety, contributing to our national stability and the broader pursuit of a safer, more inclusive world. I commend the Nigerian police force and for embracing gender mainstreaming as a strategic institutional priority. These efforts are in line with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR to strengthen national security for peace and prosperity.
Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun also paid tribute to the women who have served over the decades, calling them a backbone of Nigerian police force. He highlighted their achievements in tactical operation, community building, and even international sports, including winning Olympic gold medals.
We are here to honor a 70-year heritage defined by resilience, brilliance, discipline, and unwavering service. Over time, women earned their place across every layer of policing. Today, thousands of them proudly wear the uniform across our federation, serving in operational, tactical, investigative, administrative, and strategic roles.
With renewed commitment to gender inclusion and excellence, the Nigerian Police Force says today's celebration is not just about history, but a promise of a larger role for women in shaping the nation's security future. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
The Armed Forces of Nigeria said it is lightening up its grip on violent groups across the country, reporting fresh breakthroughs in November that include the rescue of 318 kidnapped victims and the surrender of more than 69 insurgents and their families. Our defense correspondent has the rest of the story.
At his first major engagement with journalists, Major General Michael Onoja set a firm tone, one that blends transparency with renewed operational confidence. He praised the media's role in national security, but cautioned against sensational reporting, insisting that accurate information remains a strategic asset in the fight against insecurity. According to General Onoja, troops intensified nationwide operation throughout November, conducting clearance mission, intelligence-led raid, air interdiction, and maritime patrol that disrupted terrorist networks and criminal gangs.
Accordingly, in the month of November, several terrorists, bandits and extremists, and other criminal elements were arrested, scores were neutralized, and over 69 of them and their family members surrendered. Similarly, 318 kidnapped victims were also rescued.
The director rules out that in the South-South region, troops recorded successes as Operation Delta Safe disrupted oil theft valued at over 217 million naira, destroyed several illegal refining sites, and arrested 25 suspects. In the Southeast, Operation Udoka neutralized armed elements in Enugu, Ebonyi, Abia, and Cross River State, arresting 4 fighters and rescuing 4 hostages. Precision airstrike also destroyed terrorist hideout in Ezeagu.
Also foiled oil theft worth 217,664,618 naira only, representing quantity 201,700 liters of crude oil and 88,177 liters of automated gas oil, while 16 illegal refining sites were deactivated.
General Onoja reaffirmed the military's commitment to rescuing all remaining abducted students and urged Nigerians to provide credible intelligence when necessary. He also appealed for public support for the Armed Forces Remembrance Day emblem. With new momentum and intensified joint operations, the Defense Headquarters says the Armed Forces remain focused on one objective: restoring peace in every corner of the country and operating strictly within the bounds of the law. Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global Television News.
Kano State Governor Abakari Yusuf has performed the groundbreaking ceremony for a new state-owned polytechnic in Gaya local government area. Global TV correspondent Idris Jibri reports that when completed, the institution will become the second state polytechnic offering both national and higher national diploma programs in Kano State.
The groundbreaking ceremony was performed by Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, accompanied by his deputy, who also doubles as the Commissioner for Higher Education. The governor said education remains a key driver of socio-economic development, and this informed his administration's commitment to investing heavily in the sector for the overall progress of Kano State.
Education is not merely a sector of government activity. This is the foundation upon which every modern society is built. It shapes character. It opens the doors of opportunity.
When completed, the Gaya Polytechnic is expected to serve students from 12 local government areas within the Kano South Senatorial District, many of whom previously traveled long distance to access tertiary education in the state capital.
Let me say that the establishment of this polytechnic in Gaya is intentional. It is strategic. It is firmly rooted in the extraordinary history of the people of this great region.
Beyond academic opportunities, the project is also expected to spur infrastructural development across Kano South. The Commissioner of Education, Amina Abdul Salam, revealed that the state government has already approved billions of naira for the commencement of work, and contractors have been fully mobilized to site.
Today, history is being made. We are all witnessing a very giant leap towards improving education in Kano State.
In the coming days, contractors are expected to engage with community leaders and residents to outline the project timeline and implementation details. From Kano, Idris Jibrin, Global Television News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, Guinea-Bissau Electoral Commission says vote tally destroyed following military coup. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from that break. Now we will take you to the world of business, where the Federal Executive Council, FEC, has approved an exchange rate of 1,512 naira to the United States dollar for the preparation of Nigeria's 2026 budget. Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, announced this while briefing at the State House after the council meeting, where the 2026-28 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF, was also adopted. Bagudu said the federal government is projecting 34.33 trillion naira in total revenue for 2026, including 4.98 trillion naira expected from government-owned enterprises. And on the foreign scene, Guinea-Bissau's Electoral Commission says armed men destroyed most of the vote count from the country's election, stating that it would be unable to publish results. The military took control of the Portuguese-speaking nation last week, a day before the provisional result of national elections were due to be announced. Zarau Nasir has details.
The Deputy Executive Secretary of the country's National Electoral Commission, Idrissa Jallo, told journalists they are unable to conclude the electoral process, stating that all of the tally sheets were destroyed except for those from Bissau. Members of the Electoral Commission met with the representatives from the West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, who asked whether the body could release the results. Jallo told reporters that they will not be able to release the results, describing how in the morning before the coup, armed men wearing balaclavas burst into the tabulation room. The Executive Secretary also noted that the men arrested the Commission President and 5 Supreme Court judges who were present while threatening pot-pipe agents. Zahra Unasr reporting for Global TV News.
In sports, the Federation of International Football Association, FIFA, has announced December 15 as the official release date for players heading to the 2025 African Cup of Nations, giving European clubs an extra week with the African star during the busiest part of the season. The decision means Nigeria's key players including Osimhen, Lookman, Chukwueze, Iwobi and Bassey will feature longer for their clubs before joining the Super Eagles camp ahead of the 2021 December kickoff in Morocco. FIFA says the move follows consultation with CAF and major leagues, easing clubs' fears of losing players too early while still ensuring national teams get adequate preparation time for the 2024 Nation Tournament. Super Eagles captain William Troost-Ekong has announced his retirement from international football, bringing an end to a distinguished era with Nigeria. The 32-year-old defender will not feature at the upcoming African Cup of Nations, marking the first major tournament Nigeria will attend without him in almost 10 years. Troost-Ekong, who earned 83 caps and featured in 5 major tournaments, said the decision comes with peace, knowing that throughout all this milestone, he gave everything he had. And that's it on Global TV News Prime. Here's a recap of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu has sworn in retired General Christopher Musa as the new Minister of Defense. In business, the Federal Executive Council (FEC) has approved an exchange rate of 1,512 naira to the United States dollar for the preparation of Nigeria's 2026 budget. And on the foreign scene, Guinea-Bissau's Electoral Commission says armed men destroyed most of the vote count from the country's election, stating that it would be unable to publish results. And finally, from the water sport, the Federation of International Football Association (FIFA) has announced December 15 as the official release date for players heading to the 2025 African Cup of Nations, giving European clubs an extra week with their African stars during busiest part of the season. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thanks for watching.